Everybody, please rise for the posting of the collars.
Sir, have permission to post colors.
Post collars.
Post colors. Present arms.
Of the United States of America, and one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Reverse colors. March. Right face. Mark time. March. Forward. March.
The agenda on agenda items. Second opportunity is at the end of the agenda on non-agenda items. It's not a question and answer, but it's an opportunity to present the board with your comments regarding issues that may come before the board.
This evening before the board meeting, the board had an executive session in which it discussed personnel matters. Wilson, good news. Wilson West students placed third at the countywide in the Connect Design Challenge this past Friday. This competition was fierce this year with 28 total teams participating. Our third place team consisted, I'm going to mess this up, but is it Viraj Patel, Cole Chmielewski, Siddharth, Animal Setti, and Alex Garcia. I know I probably butchered some of those, apologize. Gunset. Congratulations also to Michael Smith, fourth grade teacher at Cornwall Terrace in our school, recognized by the Reading Eagle recently. Approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Dr. Chmielewski, second. Mr. Martin? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Treasurer's report?
Mr. President, I submit the following: the treasurer's report, the investment report, and the general fund financial reports from last month.
Do I have a second? Mr. Wolf? Roll call, please.
Dr. Chmielewski.
Yes.
Mr. Hart. Yes. Mr. Huff.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Yes. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
Payment of bills?
Mr. President, I submit that we pay the following bills in the amount of $2,807,519.56 from the general fund and $17,714.55 from the capital reserve fund.
Do I have a second? Mrs. Reed? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Huff.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Chmielewski.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
And the financial report?
submitted for February 2016 are the cafeteria report, child care report, activity accounts from Wilson West, Wilson Southern, and the senior high school.
Do I have a second? Mr. Martin, roll call, please.
Mr. Hop. Yes. Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger. Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
Are there any communications?
There are none.
Item 4.1, request permission to ratify and approve the revised 2015-2016 field trip and participants as attached. Do I have a motion? Dr. Kaminsky? Second. Mr. Metzger? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Superintendent's report?
Thank you, President Ehrlich. Jeez. Kristen, I just want to start out, you didn't offend your colleagues or anything, did you, before the meeting? Or okay, all right, just check. Superintendent's report this evening, there's one item I just want to point out, and that's she affectionately is known as Ann Y. Ann Yarentowski, a librarian at Southern, 26 and a half years of service. Ann does a great job. If you know Ann, she's always collaborating with the professional staff there. She's very student-child focused. And although we're very happy for her with her upcoming retirement, we do want to thank her for her time in the district. She's done a great job. And that's my report for this evening.
We're running a string here with our librarians.
We are, yes.
We've lost,
Yeah, it's a big turnover.
lost a bunch in the last couple of years. Do I have a motion for Mr. Hop, second, Dr. Kaminsky? Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Hop.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
Human Resources, 7.1, request approval of the appointment of John Stanger to Assistant Principal, West Middle School, 10-month Act 93 at a salary of $72,724 a year, effective 4/4/2016. Replaces Dr. Frank Reese, who will be transferring. 7.2, request authorization to terminate Fred Hurl, effective 3/14/2016. And 7.3, request approval of the resignation of Daniel Picardo, English teacher, for the terms of the agreement release dated March 7th, 2016. Do I have a motion for approval? Mrs. Reed, second. Mr. Hop, roll call, please.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Hop.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
Under People Services, 8.1, request approval of the resolution approving and adopting student discipline waiver and consent agreement dated March 7th, 2016. 8.2, ratification of the placement of one 17-year-old Wilson High School male on March 9th, 2016 into the River Rock Academy. 8.3, request approval of the proposed special education comprehensive plan to start July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2019. And 8.4, grant permission to approve the settlement with a parent of a child with disabilities by funding a trust in the amount of $9,000 in payment of parent-incurred attorney fees in an amount not to exceed $10,800 in exchange for complete waiver of all potential claims against the district. Do I have a motion for approval? Mrs. Reed, second. Mr. Metzger, roll call, please.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart. Mr. Hop.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
Under Technology and Media, 9.1, request permission to enter into a 5-year contract with Comcast to provide dedicated Ethernet to Berkshire Heights and the operations facility at a cost of $2,278.16 per month. The bill is E-rate eligible at our current rate of 50%. Roll call, please, Dr. Chmielewski. Second, Mrs. Reed. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Reed. Yes. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
9-4, 9 against.
Under Operations 10.1, request approval of the change order to the Roy G. Snyder natatorium contract to E.R. Stubner, which is an increase of $1,145.90. Roll call. Mr. Negrini, second. Mr. Martin, roll call.
Mr. Early.
Oops, sorry.
Very briefly, we have been informed that this is the last and final change order, so they should officially complete the renovation of the asset.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Mr. Early.
Yes.
9-4, 9 against.
Under Finance, 11.1, request approval of the budget transfers dated February 11th through March 9th, 2016. And 11.2, request approval of the Berks Career and Technology Center General Fund operating budget for July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017. Motion, Dr. Chmielewski. Second, Mr. Metzger. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Yes. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
9-4, 9 against.
Under extracurricular, 16.1, request approval of the revised 2015-2016 compensation plan effective March 3rd, 2016 as attached. This adds the dance team head coach. And 16.2, request approval of the athletic and non-athletic retroactive increases per attached. Motion, Dr. Chmielewski. Second, Mrs. Reed. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart. Yes. Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini. Mrs. Reed. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
9-4, none against.
Under policies, we have two policies that are third and final reading. 17.1, which is policy 121, field trips as revised, and 17.2, which is policy 121.1, overnight foreign field trips, which is new. And the readings of the student records and plan for collection, maintenance, and dissemination of student records do not need votes. So, motion on the first two policies. Dr. Chmielewski, second. Mr. Negrini. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Metzger.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mrs. Reed. Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Schimmelstein.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
9-4, 9 against.
Committee reports, Berks Career and Technology Center.
The JOC of BCTC has not met since our last meeting. Next meeting is scheduled for March 30th at 7 o'clock and at the East Campus.
Berks County IU.
Our next meeting is this Thursday, ACIU at 7 o'clock.
Berks CIT. Curriculum,
Our next meeting is this Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
extracurricular.
Just a small update, as you all know, last week the weather was incredible. In fact, if you remember, the last 2 years, we were shoveling snow off of turf and everything like that. So it was amazing first week to kick off spring sports, and I think everybody got off to a great start. Still have 2 winter sports wrapping up. Swimming is in PIAA championships this week, and then also our competitive cheer team is going to a cheer limited nationals event in Myrtle Beach this weekend. And that is important.
Facilities.
We had a meeting on March 7th relative to the Southern Stadium upgrade. And we had approved back in February as part of the capital projects for 16, 17, $750,000 towards that upgrade. That was based upon 2013 numbers. As we have looked at what it would cost today, that number has increased to about $1.2 million. That would not include costs of bathroom facilities if that was mandated by the township. So kind of put things on hold at this point. Kyle is going to have some meetings with some folks over at Spring Township to see about getting those costs down, get back to us, and then as we get back to the larger board in discussion of cost of that particular project.
Well, very slow. For a relatively short period of time. Where's that estimate coming from? Of the increase?
The original estimate came from Clark County when they were here doing the fields, the fields of the high school campus. That was the number that was given to me, $700,000. Since then, we got prices back, we did it to 1.6. Originally, the estimate was for a smaller set of portable bleachers. I don't know where they got that from, but that was in there. Since then, we worked with the bleachers that we have right now, adding a press box, just the bleachers alone, we increased of almost $300,000.
The scope of the original estimate doesn't sound like it's really in line with what we're trying to do here.
We talked about scaling back the size of the press box so that it is essentially comparable to what we have over at West. I think what was proposed was significantly larger and good Kaufman it would certainly meet the needs of what is required over at Southern, significantly smaller. So again, we're certainly, we got those numbers back in 2013 because we were doing upgrades throughout the district. It wasn't necessarily something that we had committed to doing in that short term. And obviously, as it's been more diligently looked at, that's where some of the
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be helpful to, just for board purposes, to have any estimates broken down. Like what would be the estimate to do a track? What would be, what would be the estimate for different version of bleachers? Things like
yeah,
that.
we've talked about the difference between complete replacing of bleachers versus refurbishing of bleachers and saving costs there. Certainly in terms of the track is concerned, I don't think that particular cost will change very much. So it really sounds as if it's, the cost is really in the bleachers and, potentially then.
Yeah, the piece of the bathroom is huge, though. It's a similar situation we ran into at over West, where we should be looking at significant numbers. 60% of what we're at now.
Different municipalities.
It is, but hopefully,
On a good note, Kyle, we got word, and this doesn't happen often, that construction on our patio at Southern is supposed to start tomorrow, and originally was scheduled for April 4th. So we're actually starting our project ahead of time, which is nice.
Finance, the only update I have, we continue to work on the execution of the bond refinancing. As I reported previously, we're doing it in 3 tranches, and the first tranche came in very favorably as they've continued to be priced. Unfortunately, and Mike, I'll jump on your legislative piece a little bit. With the budget, or lack of a budget in Pennsylvania, that is really starting to affect pricing of bonds in Pennsylvania. We're still able to get some pretty good pricing. It's still going to be the savings that we had thought, but we thought we would exceed what the estimate was. In fact, there are some local school districts that got no execution on bonds and actually had to pull them. We're not getting any bidders on their bonds, and you're seeing some things. Some of the school districts are starting to make some claims that they're not sure how they're going to pay for things the balance of the year. If you saw Red Lion, superintendent came out and made a pretty bold statement last week about the district potentially having to file bankruptcy. They've backed off of that, but it is affecting the pricing on these bonds. But again, the feeling right now is we will still hit what we thought we would hit, but we were obviously hoping to exceed the savings. But as soon as we get final execution, I know Diane will have that for us, and we'll report that. That concludes my report. Human Resources?
No report.
Legislative. Sorry to step on your...
No, that's fine. That's what happened. That's what happened today back in our session today. Just some little tidbits for you. I did some research on taxes. In Pennsylvania, ranks 39th in the nation in taxes, which is not what we want to be. The Berks County ranks number 1. Pennsylvania, the highest tax assessment ratio. People don't know that, but that's not a good thing either. Moving right along, that doesn't include, I guess you read about the taxes being shifted from the funds, from the gasoline tax. Pennsylvania ranks 50 of all states in taxation now. It's up to 52 cents, I believe, per gallon. So that the average person costs them $700 a year in this gas tax, which isn't going the roads. So I find that,
All you have to do is go to a Redner's gas station in Pennsylvania and then go to a Redner's gas station in Maryland and Delaware. You can see the impact of taxes on gasoline. It's in Pennsylvania. It's probably 15 cents cheaper a gallon tax in Delaware and Maryland.
I just talked to somebody who they drove to Florida and back, and they were telling me what they paid for gas in South Carolina, so it's significantly less than Pennsylvania, especially with taxes.
Mr. Martin, did you read what you brought up about Berks County being one of the highest? It's always illustrating me because I see it when I'm trying to is there anything that you can think of or that you read that to attribute to that? It's the lack of industry, the lack of manufacturing?
the lack of manufacturing and businesses in general. They're not in Berks County. They're not in Berks County.
I mean, because even just going into Lancaster, they seem so similar to us, but I guess maybe there is more there that, I'm not correct.
Well, one of the other things that is in the rooms there, moving real estate development is relative to, say, the school market, much more school market than Montgomery or Fox. So that's going to contribute to that higher ratio.
So I know the county commissions are looking at this to see how they can help us.
Please do.
Moving on, one more thing before I get into actually stuff that people really care about. Here's a little tidbit for you. States that are traditionally Republican pay 20% less in taxes. So I pass that on, still true. Now, the important stuff, which Steve alluded to. Moody's is looking at, Standard & Poor's and Moody's looking at downgrading us again. And it's now, in addition to the unfunded pension, the next 5 years have a structural budget deficit going forward, according to the governor. And there's no way of closing the structural deficit. There's more spending than there is income. And right now, there's just no solution to it. There's just nothing in the process of being resolved. So that's the structural deficit there. So there's no good chance no structural deficit will be coming, unfortunately, another downgrade. Lawmakers I should say, lawmakers from Philadelphia want better financial literacy, so there's a bill in the House that will mandate financial disciplines in high school, that courses have to be given to every student so they understand credit cards, banking, and so forth. So that has not been voted on yet, but that's in the committee. And let's see if there's anything else that I'm supposed to share. You know, Mike, it's interesting, you know, maybe I'm just becoming this flaming hippie as I get older. But you talk about the 20% lower taxes. You know, there always seems to be a need for a balance, because sometimes it's extreme. Lower taxes in the Republican states, and obviously I'm a Republican. But, you know, people will make reference to much of the southern states of how low their taxes are. And there seems to be a correlation between the worst public education systems and the lowest taxes. And I'm not saying you need to spend more money to get better results. Clearly, I'm not saying that. But I think there needs to be a balance. Because some of those states that have the lowest taxes probably also have the highest case of rickets or scurvy. So, I mean, it's... So it's not necessarily a panacea that it has lower taxes.
No, I understand that. And actually, what you're saying is pretty correct. I mean, Delaware is fourth in the nation's lowest taxes, but we all know the reason for that. Hawaii has the lowest taxes, which is hard to believe, but they're the lowest. Of course, you can't buy a home there. The home starts at $500,000. But in general, you have a rich state, yes.
Well, we're 9 times better than Illinois.
Illinois, let me just look at
Their budget deficit is $9 billion.
Well, Chicago, well, yes. Yeah, sure, yeah, you're correct, yes.
All right, public relations, Mr. Hart.
So lucky I get to follow that conversation. Some positive news. Tomorrow night is the National Honor Society and Distinguished Alumni Induction. That ceremony starts at 7, and there is a reception beforehand at 6:30, and following the ceremony will be coffee and desserts. So please feel free to join us for that. And there's been a lot of great news if you're reading the Bulldog Blitz, a lot of accomplishments. Another Wilson West accomplishment, 3 of the finalists out of 10 for the You Be the Chemist Challenge for Berks County were from West, and I hope I get this name right, but Krishna Nayak, an 8th grader at West, won first place in the competition. That was last week. And coming up, Spring Ridge will be hosting their 20th birthday celebration on Monday, March 21st, beginning with an assembly at 2 p.m. over at Spring Ridge Cafeteria. For the Wilson Education Foundation, we have our next board meeting this coming Friday, so we're preparing the financials and documents for that. Continuing to work on our summer camp, academic summer camp planning, and then we're in crunch time for the Iron Chef. The event's less than 30 days away, so ticket sales are going great. Our billboard started running today. We have over 200 tickets sold. We have up to 300 nominations for the Extraordinary Teacher of the Year. And so far we have 34 restaurants committed, so our goal's 40, so we need about 6 more. So things are going well. That's my report. Thank you.
Student outreach, I'm going to be Gabby tonight. Gabby doesn't have much to report, and as just mentioned, the National Honor Society induction is tomorrow night, and she also wanted to say that Footloose, which was the school musical that was this past weekend, went really, really well, and got a great turnout.
It was a good show. I was there Saturday night. I was very, very impressed. These kids are so talented, and the amount of effort that goes in, both by the kids and the amount of staff, I think, that put that together, the choreographers and the reppers and the music department. It's top notch. I look forward to those events every year, and some songs I recognize.
Oh, what I do want, in reference to why is the lowest taxes? How about Alaska, where they actually pay?
Alaska's in there too, yes. Somebody mentioned Illinois, they are the highest. Whoever mentioned
Get a check in Alaska.
They pay you.
Yeah.
Illinois
That's
is
part of the experience.
Any other business? Any public participation on non-agenda items?
There's none.
Motion to adjourn. Mr. Hop, second. All in favor? Aye.
Who seconded?
I did.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's factored in there.